To understand the difference between a petrol engine and a diesel engine, one must first learn how the two types of fuel work. Petrol needs igniting in order to drive an engine, whereas diesel burns under compression. I'll explain this as we go along. In a petrol engine, petrol is squirted, if you like, into a chamber. This is called a cylinder, and at the top of this cylinder is a spark plug, which I'm sure you've heard of, and the spark plug lets off a small electronic spark at the top of the chamber, which burns the petrol which is inside and sends a piston down inside the chamber, which is attached to a rod. An engine works by burning fuel so as to make the end product of the engine is a rotation which can be controlled, a variable rotation where the speed can be controlled by the user, the driver of the vehicle. The ignition process involves something like a starter motor, whereby the rotation is mimicked, if you like, by using a motor which sets off a chain of events and starts the engine running as it would be, as it does. It relies on itself once it's going. Fuel is sent into a chamber where a small explosion occurs and a piston is sent down through the chamber, which in turn sends a piston up in the next chamber along. So the process can repeat itself. One piston goes down, the other goes up, an explosion occurs, that piston goes down and the previous one is sent up, and so on. Below these pistons is a rod with a series of curves in it, and as each piston goes down it sends this rod into rotation, and on the end of this rod will be a wheel with a belt attached, which then turns a further wheel and causes the rotation required with the required torque, so it's connected to a gearbox where you can then select not really sure how it works, to be honest. The handbrake, however, powers these same brakes using a cable, simply by pulling a cable and causing these brake shoes to press on the inside walls of the vagina. To install your own central heating system in your home, of course, first you'll need to buy some equipment. A plumber's outlet with a trade counter should have everything you need. You'll need to buy some radiators, which should come pre-packed with brackets for hanging them on the wall. You'll also need several meters of copper piping which you should check is the right gauge for your radiator system. The boiler in your house is going to have to be connected to this system also, so you should make sure you have the correct fittings for the gauge of copper pipe which you have purchased so as to fit them to your boiler. You'll also need some corner fittings for the piping. You can't bend a copper pipe further than the metal is designed to be bent. If you're undertaking the fitting of a central heating system in your own home, then you should seek advice at the very least from an experienced plumber who will be able to guide you or show you plans for a normal house where the plumbing system is carefully planned and routed between floors and ceilings. Once your central heating system is installed, you must test it by running the system with the boiler running at full pelt, and you must check all connections in your pipes and each radiator for leakage. This is very important. To keep your wife happy, you must ensure that this radiator system is in good order. There are other things you can do to keep your wife happy in the home. These involve financial things, financial matters. You must find a job of work, preferably in an area where you have some expertise. Then you can provide for your wife and your family. Your marriage also will suffer. If you don't keep your wife satisfied when it comes to lovemaking. In the same way that you were thorough fitting your central heating system, you must be equally thorough in the manner with which you keep your wife happy in the bedroom. This involves not only physical stimulation, also emotional stimulation. Women work differently from men.